Chapter 31 Encounter with the Fog-Killing Demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This schematic is for something called a fully automatic defense beam tower, the catch. They're incredibly difficult to build, requiring exotic meteorites, and to get your hands on those, you need falling gold, space rocks. Basically, a 5-kilo piece can fetch around $20 million. Ultimately, you need to combine two types of magic cores with this space gold to create these alien meteorites. A fully automatic defense beam tower can single-handedly protect a base's entire perimeter. This blueprint is as rare as they come. Back in his previous life, the Longshao base, where Yi Ju was stationed, had one of these things. He personally witnessed it hold off attacks from 1,000 major demons. They couldn't even scratch it. The beam tower's power was unbelievable. So, Yi Ju wants to set one up for his future home. This is goal number 2, the reason he's staying in the army. To find any information about falling gold. Right now, the group is deep inside the Grand Theater, but things have taken a weird turn. There's a thick, black fog. Yep, black fog inside the Grand Theater. And it's impossible to see anything inside. This black mist is so spooky, it's got everyone on edge. Plus, there's this unsettling demonic aura hanging in the air. What's causing it? Is the fog itself demonic? Or is there something in the fog? A spiritual demon, could it be? Yi Ju's taken aback. He remembers a rumor from ancient books about a specific type of demon from his past life, a rogue one known as Fog Killer. Fog Killer was unpredictable and elusive. It would surround itself with a thick, black mist to stay hidden. He's a step above most other demons. If you stumble into its fog, you're at a serious disadvantage. Many strong fighters from his previous life brought entire armies to hunt Fog Killer, but what happened? They all ended up dead, assassinated by Fog Killer. It's a lone wolf assassin. It doesn't belong to any demon lair. No one has ever seen its real face. Nobody knows its true name. They say anyone who's ever seen it is dead. So, this black fog is setting off alarm bells for Yi Ju, reminding him of those ancient stories, because the rumor is most likely true. They say the reason Fog Killer has such strange powers, the ability to create this black mist and control a shadow army, is because it came from across the river. That's right, according to the records, this demon crossed over. A hell-crossing demon. Just like the rumors say, it appears out of nowhere, with no warning, and you don't see the black fog until you're already inside. In his previous life, people stumbled into it and never made it out alive. That's why the legend of Fog Killer spread so far. Crossing the river is seriously messed up. The demons from hell crossing the river are so powerful, they have such terrifying abilities. Bottom line, if you're unlucky enough to wander into Fog Killer's trap, you're screwed. Not because the fog itself will kill you, but because inside that black mist, there's a massive, terrifying, and powerful demonic shadow legion. That's the real horror of spiritual demons. Of course, people started calling it the demonic shadow legion after Fog Killer. Chapter 32 The Shadow Army. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This shadow army is formless. They materialize from the black mist whenever they want, then they attack from every angle. The goal is to kill this demon while it's still inside the fog. It just keeps using an energy source to generate those demonic shadows. You might take one down, but the next second, a swarm of them is back, attacking you. Even though they're made of mist, they are seriously strong. And get this, as the fight goes on, even tougher demons start showing up. They keep hitting you from the fog, driving you to the brink. This is the infamous demon mist killer from the old days. If you run into one, you're pretty much toast. Tons of people died fighting it. When the fog clears, all you see are corpses, but, hey, some people actually make it through. They wipe out countless demons, and anyone who walks out of that fog alive, they're destined to be a big shot in the apocalypse. Why? Because surviving the dark fog means you beat a horde of super strong demonic shadows. You killed the original mist killer. How could you not be strong after that? Someone like that, every major power is gonna be fighting over them. Because the rewards for beating the demon mist killer are insane. Special gear, blueprints, supplies, you name it, but the big prize is the Wuxia Spirit Body Magic Core, which can hold up to 5 regular cores. Back in the day, when the big powers found out where the fog was happening, they'd send squads. They'd attack like maniacs, all for that extra-large crystal magic core. Sure, the cost was high, maybe everyone would die, but what if just one of them made it? Everyone wanted to get their hands on that core. After going through so much hell, who wouldn't want to get strong? Who wouldn't want to rule this wasteland? People's minds are completely different after the apocalypse. What is this black mist, anyway? How did we get stuck in it? Su Ziyue asked, surprised, while they were all freaking out. Suddenly, a nasty-looking demon materialized from the black mist. Before they could even react, it charged. Bang! Su Ziyue pulled out her pistol and shot. The bullet was actually blue. She got that gun off a demon she killed. Sunset Rider, special effect, hidden. The bullet tore right through the demon, turning it into smoke that dissolved back into the fog. Seeing that, Yi Ju was even more sure this was the demon mist killer. No wonder the Grand Theater was locked down so tight. They were trying to keep this thing from getting out. The new humans aren't strong enough yet, most are only level 1, level 2 new humans are considered geniuses, and level 3. Those are super rare. They're either really strong or got super lucky. But still, even those guys, facing the mist killer, they'd probably get wiped out in a heartbeat. Interesting. That demon in the black mist has a few tricks up its sleeve. Dong Hu smiled when he saw the demon vanish back into the fog. You can still laugh. Yi Ju shook his head. This sergeant clearly had no idea, this was a deadly situation. Chapter 33 Fight Hard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. For the average Joe, the survival rate is less than 0.1%, even the top dogs, the core members of those superpowers back in my past life, wouldn't dare take this on lightly. So, with just the 4 of us, are we even gonna make it out of here alive? Yi Ju shook his head. Hiss. Another gnarly-looking demon materialized from the black mist and went straight for Qing Xian, who was leading the charge. Whack. Qing Xian swung his blade, and a flash of energy pulsed along the edge. He's using his energy, alright. Whoosh. The demon got sliced in 2, but bam. Another one sprang up to take its place. Everyone watched in horror, totally freaked out. What is with this demon? It just comes back after you kill it. That's it. It's all this demonic energy hanging around. Could it be, is the whole damn black mist the devil? Finally caught on, huh? Yi Ju glanced at them. Now, the shadow army had conjured up another demon, a humanoid one this time. It was waving a long knife around like a maniac. What the hell is this place? Yang Wenchao yelled, his voice cracking. He'd never seen anything like it. It's so messed up, you can't even fight it. Yi Ju cut to the chase. This thing's called a fog killer. There's no breaking out. Fog killer? You've run into these before. Dong Hu looked over at Yi Ju, surprised. This black mist has 2 phases. Phase 1 is an endless swarm of shadows. You gotta find a way to survive that. Yi Ju said, cold as ice. Endless? The 4 of them looked like they'd just seen a ghost. But if you kill them fast enough, they'll scatter and you'll hit phase 2. Yi Ju added. What's in phase 2? Dong Hu pressed him. Phase 2 is when the real fog killer shows its face. Just take it out. Yi Ju explained. A fireball sizzled, taking out another shadow demon. The others heard him out, and their faces went white. Kill fast enough and the shadows scatter. Yikes. More and more of the shadow demons kept popping up all around them. Suddenly, there were dozens of them. Let's go. Dong Hu roared, time to put up a fight or go home. We either fight, or we die. They all glanced at each other. No way around it, time to throw down. We're all new humans with our whole lives ahead of us. No one wants to check out here. Kill. 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 Everyone went all out. Screaming their heads off. Pulling out all the stops. But the shadow army demons? They didn't give a damn. They swarmed, attacking like a pack of ravenous wolves. At first, each person was dealing with 3, but as time wore on, each one had to fend off 5 at once. And no one could lend a hand, just staying alive was a struggle. 20 demons suddenly appeared around Yiju. They attacked instantly. But nothing happened. That's right. They were stopped dead, inches away from him, by some kind of force field. Hundreds of demons piled up against the shield, clawing and slashing, but they couldn't get through. This was the buff Yiju had picked up earlier, permanent exorcism. Low-level spirit demons couldn't even touch him. Yiju, Suziue screamed. All she could see was Yiju, completely surrounded by hundreds of demons, hidden beneath a mountain of monsters. Run! He's done for, Dong Hu yelled. Looks like I still underestimated this fog killer. We couldn't even make it past Phase 1. Chapter 34 Mission Failed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Too many damn demons, Qing Xian snarled. Escape. Where the hell could they escape to? There was no getting out of the mist demon's trap. Everyone was fighting for their lives. The demons were evenly matched with them, for now. But then they realized something was seriously wrong. The Shadow Army's strength was steadily increasing, bit by bit, slowly but surely, they were getting stronger. Finally, it dawned on them, the demons condensed from the black mist were gradually becoming more powerful. We're screwed, we're dead. How could this happen? Yang Wenchao screamed. He swung his axe relentlessly. If it weren't for energy potions, he'd be running on fumes. He would have been sliced and diced a long time ago. Seeing the potions in his pocket dwindle, he finally lost it. Damn it! How could there be such a freaky demon? Why couldn't they be regular, flesh and blood demons? At least a flesh and blood demon had, well, flesh and blood. But this? Hitting them felt like hitting nothing. And if you didn't hit them hard enough, you couldn't kill them. Yang Wenchao was so frustrated he could have puked. All of a sudden, he realized he'd been stabbed countless times. He could feel the blood pouring out of him. How much longer can we hold out? Su Ziue gritted his teeth. He pulled out another revolver, the Duke of Destruction, dual-wielding revolvers blazing. But human endurance had its limits, and demons were being created constantly, without ever tiring. They were constantly weakening, while the demons spawned from the mist kept getting stronger. They were getting tired, and tired meant death. At that moment, everyone felt hopeless. They all realized something. Maybe they were going to die here. Don't die. I don't want to die, Yang Wenchao yelled again and again. What a bummer, the mission failed. Dong Hu said with a wry smile, facing the relentless assault of the charging demons, he was giving it everything he had. The next second, a dozen more demons appeared. They weren't given a chance to breathe, just a swarm, crushing their last hopes. It's over. Su Ziue also smiled grimly. All his energy spent, his potions were gone. He finally understood, what did infinity mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, that was the last number of demons they could take down. Within seconds, everyone was mortally wounded, dying. All they could do was wait for the inevitable, boom. Right then, a ray of light pierced through. Countless demons went down, then. Lightning and light crackled across the sky, turning countless demons into ash amidst their agonizing screams. What the hell? Su Ziue reluctantly opened his eyes, but his vision went black. His injuries were so severe that his consciousness was fading. Not far from him lay Donghu, Qing Xian, Yang Wenchao. They were motionless. It was unknown whether they were alive or dead. The Ji Tian's lightning barrage continued for what seemed like forever before it finally subsided. Su Ziue's eyes remained shut. He was so tired. But a warm current flowed through his body. Healing. That was his last thought before he passed out. Wu Sha, so you finally decided to show your face. Yi Ju stood there. In his previous life, he had never seen Wu Sha. Guess he was lucky today. He watched as the black mist constantly coalesced, until finally, a dark demon appeared before him. Human. The aura emanating from the mist demon was comparable to that of a great demon. The voice in his throat was a guttural growl, a warning. Chapter 35 instantly kills the fog and kills the demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What greeted the fog-killing demon was a relentless barrage of buffs. Looks like you're a fan of overwhelming force, Yi Ju said with a cold smile. He was fully buffed. Wind blades, fireballs, and lightning crackled around him. Although there hadn't been time to siphon blood after destroying the nest, he'd snagged a ton of gear and items, including over a dozen pieces of special effects equipment. Jackpot. Fire bomb, water cannonball, iron cannonball, sky wave, and sand blade. These skill books were now permanently boosting Yi Ju. He could unleash those powers at will, attacking in all directions. He felt invincible. The advantage was unreal. He could command the Shadow Army himself. This team needed weapons to fight. How basic. Even though they were strong, the four of them took down 100 shadow demons. It was a different league. No way, you. The fog-killing demon reeled under the onslaught. The constant attacks gave him no room to fight back. Let's be real, he was a demon assassin, facing wind blades, fireballs, and water cannons. Nobody could handle that, not even a major league demon. So, once Yi Ju unleashed his full firepower, the battle was as good as over. Bang, bang, bang. The fog-killing demon finally let out a pathetic wail. It was getting hammered. A skill book, 3 pieces of equipment, and 2 items spilled out, and get this, the 4 people lying half dead on the ground actually leveled up. Since they participated in the battle and helped kill the main boss, they earned experience points. When they woke up, they wouldn't believe how they'd survived such a hopeless situation. They instantly killed the fog-killing demon recorded in ancient books. Yi Ju scooped up the loot and stuffed it into his dimensional bracelet. Then, he yanked the most important prize, the crystal magic core, from the corpse. This crystal magic core, bigger than his hand, could hold up to 5 people. This time, he'd scored 6 crystal magic cores, a total of 4 flesh and blood cores and 6 crystal cores. Extract, special effect reverse damage. Ding! Extraction successful. Your permanent damage reflection buff increased to 120%. Permanent counter-injury buff. When attacked by physical or energy forces, the enemy takes 120% of the damage. The human shield build is coming together. Yi Ju grinned. Monster spawning spree was perfect for mowing down regular demons, but to fight a high-level demon, you had to plan ahead. For example, physical immunity plus magic immunity equals invincibility. Nah. Ever heard of holy wounds? High-level demons usually have special damage skills. But, counter damage plus physical immunity plus magic immunity equals human shield build. Think about it, a tough demon punches you, you're immune, but the damage bounces right back on him. It's like the demon punching himself. Ah. He touched the ground, and a wall of solid ice shot up. Then, Yi Ju jumped to the second floor to hunt more demons. Besides the fog killers, there were some scattered low-level demons here, like bull-headed demons and pig-headed demons. These guys had a thing for girls and liked special treatment. Yi Ju stood his ground. A bull-headed demon slammed into the wall behind him with a shockwave. Then, ice spikes, lightning, and sonic booms shredded him to pieces. Chapter 36 Underground Air Raid Shelter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Strong. Am I strong now? Nah, at least, I don't think so. These skills look flashy and all, but low level is still low level. Think about it, can some scrub skills from some weak-ass demon take down a real heavy hitter? Especially when you're talking about demons that cross rivers, beings that make even the big demons look like chumps. You'd barely be scratching their backs. What you really need is counter damage, physical immunity, magic immunity, immortality, that kinda stuff, but those skills usually only show up in demons around the level of big demons. Right now, I've only boosted my damage by 120% and my physical immunity by 11%. Magic immunity? 0, so, am I strong? Alright, I remember, this is the spot marked in red. That I head down alone to the Grand Theater's basement. I've already cleared out the demons down here. The whole place is eerily beautiful, all the demons are mummified. There was a weird rumor going around. Every few days, someone was saying a vampire was loose in the theater. And that it was only sucking demon blood. The new humans were talking about it non-stop. Turns out it's a bomb shelter. That explains things. I mean, how else did those survivors make it in those demon-built lairs up above? They'd need a place to stash food and supplies. Basements and storage rooms were the only way to hide. Click, that I punch in the code and unlock the bomb shelter door. Dong, who gave us the password before we split up. The light flickers on inside. Then, a bunch of people stare at me, surprised. Awesome, the army sent someone to rescue us. Hey, are you here to save us? Dude, you're the only one. That there must be hundreds of survivors crammed in here. They've been holed up for over 10 days, the air's surprisingly decent, thanks to a ventilation system. That's right, everyone, come on out. I'm with the new human guard. That I nod. What about the demons? Yeah, buddy, there's a demon out there. What if we run into one? That someone says, worried. What demons? That I step aside. Behind me, a bunch of dead demons are scattered all over the floor. Are all the demons dead? They're really dead. Did you kill them all? New humans are so tough. Can I become a new human too? That the crowd spills out, excited. They took refuge in this dugout from the start. Luckily, there's decent internet down here, so they know all about the new humans. Just kill demons, rack up experience points, and whoever can become strong enough can make it. That I smile. I lead them to the grand theater entrance. Meanwhile, the group heal buff has been running for ages. Dong Hu and the others are still out cold. Looks like they were seriously messed up, so I find a few of the stronger young guys to help carry them out. They're coming out. They're coming out. That the soldiers in charge of the escort shout into their radios. A bunch of military buses, with tanks rolling alongside, pull up and haul everyone away in a few minutes. I'm standing on the bus in the middle as we head back. My level 5 new human aura keeps the riffraff away. Holy crap, is that a human? Level 5? I'm only level 1. Anyone can check your level, but no one's in a hurry to show theirs off. Best to keep a low profile, right? Except I don't need to worry about that anymore. Chapter 37 Strictly Refuse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hold up, there's someone in the road. That the officer's voice boomed over the intercom. Screech. The bus lurched to a stop. Standing there was a young woman, hands and feet nervously fidgeting. She looked panicked, glancing at the bus, hesitant to move. She was actually kind of cute, a real girl next door type. Her clothes were a little ragged. With a bit of a makeover, she could be a knockout. My name is Dong Minmin. I don't mean any harm. I'm just starving and looking for something to eat. The girl, Dong Minmin, seemed intimidated by the armored vehicle. She even raised her hands in surrender, stammering her explanation, food. In this wasteland, food and water were rarer than gold. If anything could unleash the darkest side of humanity, it was hunger. This girl was clearly weak, yet, she risked facing the horrors of the apocalypse to search for food. Yi Ju had to admire that kind of guts. After all, he'd done the same thing in his past life, although, he hadn't been quite this desperate. So, what do we do? That the soldiers looked unsure. The other survivors remained silent. Then Yi Ju, still chewing on his beef jerky, hopped off the bus and gave her the once-over. Despite her current timidity, this girl probably had more grit than most. If she awakened as a powered individual, she could be stronger than the average person, right? Beef jerky. That's when Dong Minmin spotted the package in Yi Ju's hand. The label was clear as day. She swallowed hard, her eyes lit up. Growl, her stomach rumbled loud enough to hear. Oh man. It was beef jerky. This guy was actually eating beef jerky. And he was really going to town on it. Dong Minmin felt like she was losing it. Driven by desperation, she cautiously asked, could you maybe share some with me? No. Yi Ju flatly refused. In Dong Minmin's eyes, this guy was heartless. He was so cold. He was a cruel jerk. His answer was brutally final. There was absolutely no room for negotiation. She was at a loss for words. Tears welled up in her eyes. Please, just a little. I don't need much. I know it's a lot to ask, but can't you be a little kind? A look of pure misery crossed Dong Minmin's face as she pleaded. Yi Ju frowned. He thought to himself, having a girl look up at you with those puppy dog eyes, begging for scraps, damn. Even if he was a robot, he couldn't say no. Hearing Yi Ju's response, Dong Minmin's hope vanished, hunger and despair mixed together, and she burst into tears. Ahem, what's going on out here? Su Ziyue and the others peeked out from the second bus, curious. Their eyes fell on Dong Minmin. The girl was covered in bruises, she'd clearly been through hell. Normally, they might have helped her out, but everyone was badly injured, they barely had the strength to keep themselves alive. Thump. A whole package of beef jerky hit the ground with a thud. It was clearly a big package. Chapter 38. A magic core accidentally exploded. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He glanced around. Tons of demon corpses here. Help me crack open their skulls. If you find any demon cores, hand them over. Whether you find any or not, this bag of beef jerky is yours. Seriously? Dong Minmin asked, eyes wide. Absolutely. Yi Ju tossed her a weapon. He wasn't expecting much. Dong Minmin stared at the beef jerky, then grabbed the fire axe, bang, she swung at a demon's head. Nope. Nothing, no demon core like he said. A wave of disappointment washed over Dong Minmin, but she raised the axe again and brought it down on another, bang, the demon's head split open, blood gushing out, covering its face and making it look even more terrifying, but, no time to be scared now, beef jerky was on the line. Dong Minmin hoisted the fire axe and swung again. While Dong Minmin was busy, a group of soldiers eyed the hospital. Gotta admit, it looked creepy as hell. Who knows what kind of demons were lurking inside. Still, the hospital probably had supplies worth grabbing. Let the Grand Theater survivors go first. We'll search for medical supplies. The soldiers stomped out their cigarettes, nodding. They started looking for a way into the hospital. All the doors and windows were sealed. Squeak, squeak, a rat, mutated by the demonic stuff and almost as big as a husky, darted out, panicked, and scurried back inside. There's gotta be a way in over there, Dong Hu said, poking his head out of the car and pointing. He still couldn't move much. Seeing a rat the size of a dog had definitely freaked him out. A human could probably squeeze through the hole it made. Someone went to check. Sure enough, they found the rat's hole and crawled into the hospital. I found it. I found it. Dong Minmin suddenly shouted excitedly, huh? What did she find? Yi Ju was surprised. The demon core, is this it? Dong Minmin dropped the axe, her arms suddenly weak. She nearly collapsed from exhaustion. She stumbled over. Opening her hand, she revealed a demon core, about the size of a bottle cap, nestled in her palm. Holy crap. She actually found one. Was she just incredibly lucky? Or were demon cores more common than he thought? Yi Ju was stunned. Is this it? Dong Minmin asked nervously, seeing Yi Ju's dazed expression. Bummer. Maybe she'd gotten her hopes up for nothing. Yeah, that's it. You nailed it. Yi Ju felt a little foolish. He gently pinched the core. A bit smaller than the last one, but otherwise, identical. Awesome. Then. Dong Minmin's eyes flickered to the bag of beef jerky on the ground. Go ahead, take it, Yi Ju said, waving his hand. Hearing that, Dong Minmin lit up. She snatched the beef jerky, tore open the package, and started munching. Yi Ju then pulled a bottle of water and a pack of instant noodles from his dimensional bracelet and handed them to Dong Minmin. She accepted the supplies without hesitation. You're giving me all this? Dong Minmin stammered, surprised. Mineral water and instant noodles, too. Yep. But there's a catch, Yi Ju said with a grin. I can't. I have a boyfriend. He's in the hospital, Dong Minmin said, biting her lip and looking up at him. She totally misunderstood. Dong Minmin definitely got the wrong idea. Chapter 39. Cultivate small characters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As a little girl, what could she possibly do to help Yi Ju, whether before or after the apocalypse? There are unspoken rules, right? Give up your dignity and sell yourself, in the apocalypse, it's just how things are, but, her boyfriend's upstairs, boyfriend? Yi Ju's eyes drifted over the bruises and scars on her skin. Her boyfriend likes to rough her up. Maybe, this poor girl was clearly terrified and anxious. Was she forced out to scavenge for food? Was she just desperate? Yi Ju shook his head. I'm not interested. What conditions are you talking about? Dong Minmin asked, confused. My condition is that you become a new human. Yi Ju smiled. Dong Minmin was stunned. A new human? Her. No way. She can barely outrun the monsters, let alone fight them. There's no way she can kill monsters. No, I can't do it. Seriously, I'm not cut out for it. Dong Minmin shook her head, panicked. Whether you're cut out for it is my call. Yi Ju interrupted her thoughts. In the Wasteland, the weak fight back. Even cannon fodder can become a big shot, just like in TV shows, anime, and novels. Think about it. A little girl, destined to be homeless in the apocalypse, weak and helpless, her fate in the hands of others, might die any day. Suddenly, her fate is rewritten. She becomes a new human, maybe even awakened. Growing stronger and stronger, even admired by everyone. As someone who cultivates and rewrites destinies, this is exciting. He can stir up the apocalypse himself, or, he can train others and watch them slowly transform in the Wasteland. Those military recruits are just level 1 new humans. They don't dare to say a word. They all knew how strong Yi Ju was, a level 5 new human. Too powerful, no one dared to argue with him. But, Dong Minmin fidgeted with her clothes. She really couldn't figure out what this guy was thinking. Enough small talk. Tell me about the situation at the hospital, and about your boyfriend. Yi Ju said pointedly. Okay. Dong Minmin's face changed. She was clearly scared when she heard the word boyfriend. 10 minutes later, a warning crackled over the radio. Something strange was happening at the hospital, but they couldn't say what. Everyone, let's move to the hospital. That the soldiers were silent for a moment. This stinks. That everyone followed, squeezing in. The rat hole reeked. It would make anyone gag. It wasn't a long tunnel, and soon they reached the other end, the hospital sewer. They took a few steps when a mutated rat caught their scent. Sensing fresh meat, it bared its fangs and snarled. A soldier handed Dong Minmin his AK. Shoot it. Okay. Dong Minmin nodded, looking glum. This mutated rat would be a tough fight. The XP wasn't as good as a monster, but every little bit helps. I don't know how to use it. Dong Minmin stammered when she realized it was a real gun. Chapter 40. Entering the hospital together. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Like this, tighten it up. Yeah, hold it steady, use your weight to brace it, that's it. Now, pull the trigger. A soldier walked me through it, step by step. Bang. A bullet zipped out like lightning, hitting the mutant rat square in the forehead. Instantly, the rat's head exploded. Nice. Yi Ju grinned from behind. There were tons of mutant rats down there. With the gunfire, even more rats started pouring in. They screeched and charged. Spray, the soldiers yelled. Bang, bang, bang. With the soldiers helping steady the gun, Dong Minmin started laying down fire. The mutant rats were getting shredded. They were dodging and weaving like crazy, pulling every trick in the book to avoid the bullets. One rat managed to slip through and lunged. Before it could even get close, a blast of lightning turned it into a bloody mess. The gore splattered across Dong Minmin's face, still warm. Ah! Dong Minmin screamed. Yi Ju was speechless. It's just guts and brains, right? What's the big deal? Keep going, he snapped. The soldiers quickly held her head, trying to calm her down. The AK kept spitting fire. Soon, the sewer was littered with rat carcasses. I leveled up. Level 1. I'm a new human, Dong Minmin shrieked, finally snapping out of it. Thank you, thank you. I actually became an awakened. She was practically glowing with excitement. She never imagined she'd become an awakened, ever. And she'd even unlocked a superpower. Was she dreaming? She pinched her cheek, hard. Ouch. Guess not. Alright, level 1 awakened Dong Minmin, lead the way, Yi Ju said with a smirk. Truth was, Dong Minmin knew another safe route through the hospital, but Yi Ju had insisted on this one, so what could she do? Swallowing her fear, she glanced back at Yi Ju and Su Ziyue, then started forward, steeling herself. Before, she was just a scrawny girl with zero strength. Now that she was awakened, though, she was scaling ladders and leaping across gaps like it was nothing. Move it. Yi Ju followed, like he was out for a stroll, no sympathy, no kindness. He was pushing her like a slave driver. Dong Minmin felt like she was being ruthlessly exploited, but weirdly, she didn't hate it. She vigorously wiped the sweat from her brow. She wiped the dirty blood off her clothes. Luckily, the rest of the way was clear. They quickly climbed the ladder and left the sewer, entering the lowest level of the hospital. You know your way around down here? Yi Ju asked. I always stayed on the 3rd floor. I never dared to come down here. Dong Minmin said quickly. After a beat, one of the soldiers said. Demon. There's a boss demon down here. The soldier looked terrified. A boss demon? Everyone gasped. They remembered that fear all too well. The horror of the boss demon was still fresh in their minds. They couldn't help but stare at Dong Minmin. How could this girl have survived so long in a hospital controlled by a demon leader? Why? Dong Minmin's face went white under the soldier's scrutiny. What was a demon boss? She had no idea. All she knew was that the hospital was crawling with demons, but she knew how to avoid them.